Hold on to your seats, coin hunters. These top 8 ultra-rare Washington quarters could turn your pocket change into a life-changing jackpot. We're talking hundreds, thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. From hidden errors to shocking mint mistakes, you won't believe what these quarters are worth. Let's dive in. The 1969 Washington quarter may appear like any other quarter in your pocket, but in reality, it's part of a fascinating and valuable group of coins that could hold unimaginable worth. When you think of rare coins, you probably imagine gold or silver, but did you know that certain varieties of this seemingly common quarter have reached values of $10,000, $20,000, or even more? How is that possible? Let's dive into the history and hidden secrets of this coin. Historical background of the 1969 Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. Over the decades, the design remained largely unchanged, except for a few key modifications and coin variations. In 1969, the U.S. Mint produced the Washington quarter in standard copper-nickel composition, which means, by itself, it has little precious metal value. However, it's the errors, die varieties, and rarities from that year that hold the big-ticket prices. Key variations and rare finds. There's a reason why the 1969 Washington quarter has earned a place on the list of the most valuable modern coins. The key is its die varieties and minting errors, which make certain versions far rarer and more valuable than others. 1969's double die obverse. Perhaps the most famous and valuable of the 1969 Washington quarter variations is the 1969's double die obverse. This rare error occurred when the die used to strike the coins malfunctioned, causing the image of Washington and the date to be struck twice, resulting in a doubled appearance. These coins can sell for anywhere from $1,500 to over $20,000 or more, depending on their condition and the severity of the doubling. The higher the grade, the more you could be looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars for a single coin. 1969 no mint mark. Most 1969 quarters were minted with an S mint mark from the San Francisco Mint, but some rare 1969 quarters were released without any mint mark at all. This error makes the coin even more scarce, and it's highly coveted by collectors, often fetching values in the range of $500 to $5,000, or higher, depending on the condition and buyer demand. 1969 Washington quarter in MS67 or higher. For those in excellent condition, graded MS67 or above, the value of any 1969 Washington quarter skyrockets. High-grade specimens can fetch several $1,000s, especially those from the San Francisco Mint with no major errors but with top-tier quality. Condition is everything. With any coin, condition is key. A 1969 Washington quarter in poor condition could still have value, but only as a general collector's item or for historical interest. In comparison, a graded MS65 or MS66 coin can demand hundreds, while coins that are graded MS67 or higher can leap into the thousands. What's more, even if your 1969 quarter isn't an error coin, it's still worth checking its grade because even non-error versions in exceptional condition have appreciated over time. Why is this coin so valuable? The combination of historical significance, rarity, and quality of certain 1969 Washington quarters makes them highly desirable. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins with errors or unique characteristics that stand out from the ordinary. And for those who have been collecting coins for years, the 1969 Washington quarter represents an incredible opportunity to own a piece of numismatic history. The 1967 Washington quarter, historical snapshot. First, let's take a look at the history behind the 1967 Washington quarter. The quarter was struck during a period when the United States was transitioning through social and political changes. The coin itself features a portrait of George Washington on the obverse, and an eagle on the reverse, two iconic symbols that have remained unchanged since the quarter's design was first introduced in 1932. 1967 was also a significant year in the world of coinage, as it marked the last year the U.S. Mint used silver in the composition of regular circulating quarters. Beginning in 1965, the U.S. Mint began reducing the silver content in most coins, and the 1967 quarter is made of a 40% silver-clad composition, which gives it a bit more value than the typical copper-nickel-clad quarters produced after 1964. However, it's not just the silver content that makes the 1967 quarter valuable. The real story lies in its rarities and errors. The rare 1967 Washington quarter variations. So, what makes the 1967 Washington quarter truly special? There are a few key variations and errors that can significantly boost its value, making some of these coins worth far more than face value. 1967 SMS, Special Mint Set, coins. The U.S. Mint produced a limited number of Special Mint Set, SMS, coins in 1967, a set created to strike coins with a higher level of quality than those intended for general circulation. These SMS coins are often the most sought after by collectors. If you find a 1967 Washington quarter from an SMS set, it could be worth anywhere from $100 to $500 or more, depending on its condition. 1967 Washington quarter with no mint mark. During the minting process, most quarters produced in 1967 had a mint mark indicating the mint where they were produced, such as D for Denver or S for San Francisco. However, some very rare no-mint mark quarters from this year exist, and these are highly coveted by collectors. A 1967 Washington quarter with no mint mark could fetch $200 to $1,000 or more, depending on its condition and provenance. 1967 silver-clad era quarters. While most 1967 quarters were made with 40% silver, some rare silver-clad era coins may have been produced with incorrect metal compositions or misprints. These coins are valuable for their error status, and their value can reach into the thousands if the error is particularly unique or pronounced. 1967 quarter in uncirculated condition. As with any coin, condition is key. A 1967 Washington quarter that has been kept in mint condition or is graded as MS65 or higher can significantly increase in value. While these uncirculated coins might not have any errors, their exceptional quality could put them in the range of $50 to $500, or higher, for the rarest and most pristine examples. Why does the 1967 Washington quarter hold such value? The appeal of the 1967 Washington quarter comes from its rarity and the fact that collectors seek out coins that stand out, whether due to minting errors, limited production, or overall quality. The 1967 Washington quarter offers a unique mix of historical significance, rarity, and value that appeals to collectors of all kinds. The scarcity of some error types and the limited number of special mint sets created in 1967 make this coin a prime candidate for valuable finds. Coins that are in excellent condition, especially those that come from proof-like or uncirculated sets, are highly prized by collectors who understand the importance of condition grading. The 1982 D Washington quarter might not look like anything special at first glance, but when you dig a little deeper, you'll discover that it's part of a select group of rare and valuable coins. Produced by the U.S. Mint at the Denver Mint, indicated by the D mint mark, this quarter may have some surprising features that make it far more valuable than face value. Let's explore what sets the 1982 D Washington quarter apart and what makes it a coin you don't want to overlook. Historical background of the 1982 Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. It has remained one of the most iconic U.S. coins ever since, with its design largely unchanged. By 1982, the Washington quarter had transitioned into a copper-nickel-clad composition, with no silver content, which makes it common in circulation. However, it's the rarities, die errors, and high-grade examples from this year that can command top dollar. Key variations and valuable features. 1982 D close AM reverse error. The most valuable and sought-after error from the 1982 D Washington quarter is the close AM reverse. This is where the A and M in America on the reverse of the coin are too close together. This error is rare and extremely valuable, often reaching prices from $500 to $2,000 or even higher depending on condition. A graded MS65 coin could go for well beyond these amounts. 1982 D Washington quarter in high grade. Even if the coin doesn't feature a rare error, a high-quality 1982D quarter in mint state, graded MS65 or higher, can still fetch hundreds of dollars. A pristine, uncirculated example could easily sell for $100 to $300 or more, especially if it's graded by a reputable numismatic organization. Why does the 1982D Washington quarter hold such value? The combination of rarity, specific die errors, and the overall quality of the coin make the 1982D Washington quarter a highly desirable piece for collectors. Coin enthusiasts are always on the lookout for the close AM error and high-grade examples, which are among the most coveted by both seasoned collectors and investors. The 1982D quarter offers a unique opportunity for anyone looking to add an undervalued gem to their collection. Historical background of the 1966 Washington quarter. The Washington quarter, which first debuted in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday, has been a staple of U.S. coinage ever since. By 1966, the design had become a familiar sight in American pocket change. At this time, the U.S. Mint was still using the copper-nickel-clad composition for quarters, which had been introduced in 1965 as part of a move to reduce the cost of coin production by removing silver from most coins. The 1966 Washington quarter doesn't contain any silver, so its intrinsic value is based on its rarity and condition. However, it's the unique errors and graded specimens that make this coin stand out in the world of collecting. Key variations and valuable features. 1966 SMS, Special Mint Set, Quarter. While the majority of 1966 quarters were produced for general circulation, the Special Mint Set, SMS, quarters were created with higher quality standards for collectors. The 1966 SMS quarters are rarer and can fetch a significant premium, often worth $50 to $300 or more depending on their condition and demand. 1966 Washington quarter with errors. Some 1966 quarters were struck with minting errors that increased their value. One of the most valuable errors to look for is the double die or misstruck coins where the date or lettering appears doubled or misaligned. These error coins can be worth anywhere from $100 to $1,000 or more depending on their rarity and condition. 1966 quarter in uncirculated condition. As with any coin, condition is key. A high-grade, uncirculated 1966 Washington quarter, graded MS65 or higher, can fetch upwards of $100 or more, especially if it has been well preserved over the years and shows minimal wear. Why does the 1966 Washington quarter hold such value? The 1966 Washington quarter holds value primarily because of its rarity and the potential for errors or high-grade specimens. While the coin may not seem incredibly valuable at first glance, the Special Mint Set, minting errors, and excellent condition examples have made it highly sought after by collectors. For coin enthusiasts, finding a 1966 SMS quarter or an error coin could be like striking gold, both due to its historical significance and scarcity. Historical background of the 1997 Washington quarter. The Washington quarter, first introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday, has been one of America's most iconic coins. By 1997, the quarter was part of the regular circulation series featuring the same classic design that had been in place for decades. The 1997D Washington quarter, minted at the Denver Mint, was no exception, struck in copper-nickel-clad composition, and meant for general circulation. However, over time, some 1997D quarters have been found to have rarer features, whether through errors, minting flaws, or simply being in exceptional condition. It's these unique aspects that can make a 1997D quarter worth far more than face value. Key variations and valuable features. 1997D Wide AM error. One of the most valuable variations of the 1997D Washington quarter is the wide AM error. This error occurs when the letters A and M in America on the reverse side are spaced too far apart. This error is rare and highly sought after by collectors, with values ranging anywhere from $100 to $500 or more, depending on its condition. 1997D quarter in high grade. If your 1997D Washington quarter is in mint condition, graded MS65 or higher, its value could easily jump to $50 to $200. Coins with top-tier quality and minimal wear are always in demand, making high-grade specimens more valuable to collectors. 1997D silver-proof coin. While the standard 1997D quarter contains no silver, special proof versions were made for collectors, which can be worth a few $100s if they're in great condition. These proof coins are distinct from the regular circulation versions and are made with a higher level of craftsmanship. Why does the 1997D Washington quarter hold such value? The 1997D Washington quarter holds its value primarily due to its rarity, minting errors, and high-grade examples. Coins that were minted with rare errors, like the wide AM, are always in demand by collectors looking to complete their sets or acquire unique items. High-grade quarters are also prized, as well-preserved coins are harder to come by and are always sought after in the marketplace. Historical background of the 1977 Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was first issued in 1932 to honor the first U.S. President, George Washington, on his 200th birthday. By 1977, the quarter had already undergone decades of production, and it was made from the standard copper-nickel-clad composition. As part of the U.S. Mint's regular circulation series, the 1977 Washington quarter doesn't contain any precious metals like silver, but it's still a sought-after coin due to certain rarities and minting errors. Key variations and valuable features. 1977 Washington quarter with errors. One of the most exciting finds for collectors is the 1977 Washington quarter with minting errors. While errors like double dies, misaligned strikes, or off-center coins are relatively rare, they can be worth a significant amount if you find one. These error coins can often fetch anywhere from $100 to $500, or even more, depending on the severity of the error and its overall condition. 1977 Washington quarter in high grade. As with any coin, the condition plays a huge role in its value. A high-grade 1977 quarter, graded MS-65 or higher, could easily be worth $50 to $200, especially if it has been well preserved and shows minimal signs of wear. Coins in pristine condition are always in demand among collectors who are looking for the best quality examples. Proof 1977 Washington quarter. While most 1977 quarters were struck for circulation, the U.S. Mint also released proof sets that included specially made versions of the 1977 quarter. These proof coins, with their smooth, mirror-like finish, are highly collectible and can be worth much more than regular circulation versions. Depending on the condition, a proof 1977 Washington quarter can range from $50 to $500, or even more in some cases. Why does the 1977 Washington quarter hold such value? The value of the 1977 Washington quarter lies primarily in its rarities and high-grade examples. While the coin itself doesn't contain any precious metals, errors such as double dies or misstrikes can significantly increase its worth. Additionally, coins that are in top-tier condition are always more valuable to collectors. For those in the know, even a standard 1977 Washington quarter could be a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. Segment 1, Background History. The 1987 D Washington quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, marked with that small but powerful D mint mark. Over 655 million of these coins were produced, and on the surface, they seem pretty common. But as with all things in the world of numismatics, it's not about how many were made, it's about how many survived with unusual traits. The 1987 D isn't silver, but it's still a heavyweight in the world of rare errors. Segment 2, Rare Errors and Value. Here's where things get spicy. The most valuable 1987 D quarters come with dramatic mint errors. We're talking off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, broad strikes, and even struck on the wrong planchet. These aren't your average quarter mistakes, they're one-in-a-million anomalies that can fetch hundreds, thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars depending on the severity and condition. One off-center 1987 D quarter sold for $2,500, while another with a double strike error shocked collectors at over $5,000. But here's the twist, some of these valuable coins are still in circulation. That's right, they could be hiding in your change jar, your old coin rolls, or that drawer you never clean out. Imagine finding a single 25-cent coin worth more than your last paycheck. Segment 1, Quick History. Let's rewind to 1971, a big year in American history, and a very underrated year in the world of coin collecting. The Washington quarter had been running strong since 1932, but the 1971 issue brought some interesting twists. Struck at both the Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D, mint mark, mints, these quarters were made from a copper-nickel-clad composition, no silver, unfortunately. Over 371 million were produced in Philadelphia, and another 258 million in Denver. But don't let those high mintage numbers fool you, the true gold lies in the rare error coins and high-grade survivors. Segment 2, Rare Errors and Value. Here's where the excitement skyrockets. Some 1971 Washington quarters were struck with major minting errors like double dies, especially on the obverse, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets. And yes, some even struck on silver planchets by mistake. That last one. If you find a 1971 quarter struck on a silver blank, it could fetch you a whopping $50,000 to $150,000 at auction. Even a high-grade, mint state 1971 quarter with a perfect strike can sell for over $5,000. And rare errors? We've seen sales exceeding $10,000, and that's no exaggeration.